Hello, Internet! Those tuning in on Twitch, in the Discord, or listening to the download. It is Frazly, the awesome gnome that heard Laurel. On this episode, we will be discussing beta news, gaming at the Olympics, Call of Duty on BNet, and more. Let's start the gnome train! Welcome to FrazlCast, a podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. Almost sounded like I said FrazlCats, but that's a different podcast that happens on Tuesday nights. We're recording live from a tavern. Each week we are joined by awesome people from around Azeroth and beyond. This week we are joined by somebody who's not in Azeroth, but they are in the land of Overwatch and minigames. Our guest tonight is Eric Gauder. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Oh, great to have you back. It's been since November, I think. November or December, because you were here for the BlizzCon Chaos episodes.
Yes. So was.
That was Chaos.
Yes.
So this is episode 55. I can't believe we've made it this far. It's incredible.
Congratulations on 55 shows. That's fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Round of applause all around.
What's been new with you?
Since November, gosh. Well, I did that thing with you in February, but anyway, new with me is just, I'm still doing the YouTube with Game of the Week.
Nice.
That is my every single day. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not working on it or thinking about it. So, working on it as I speak. So,
and that's incredible doing it. Oh, a video every day. I'm blown away that at the consistency. I mean, that is awesome.
It's the most amount of content of anything I've ever done. Like how I don't know if listeners know about our back history with the 7 o'clock news.
Oh yeah. We've surpassed that on both episodes, on both podcasts. FrazlCast and Game of the Week have both surpassed the 7 o'clock news. Wow.
Here's the thing. We started 7 o'clock news in 2006, and that ran through, I think, 2012, roughly. And it took us until 2018 for us to both have made something that surpassed it in content.
I have thought about that many times. Like, what did we do with our young adult lives?
So much 7 o'clock news.
Yes.
And that we've made the second most of.
Yeah. My niece and nephew have been watching the 7 o'clock news recently, and I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
So much exposition.
It's all exposition. What are you talking?
Well, I mean, there are a few episodes, like episode 7, where it's basically just like tornado stuff, and like for throwing things all around. I mean, you have to admit that.
That's my favorite one. It's so ridiculous. We hear on the murder of James J. Pizza Guy. Oh. Yeah, I remember that clear as day.
So since November, you've been working on Game of the Week. Sort
of. I've been working on Game of the Week since end of January.
Okay.
It's been every single weekday since the last week of January. A video out. So, and that continues to be true this week. And provided that I get through the ones I'm editing now, that'll be true of next week. So
nice.
So, and I'm going to be heading out west end of June. So I have to work ahead at piling some shows up. For me, like on schedule is having a week of shows banked, uploaded, ready to go as the week previous is ending. Ideally, so it's Thursday, Monday, if we're going with that illusion. Whatever. Like recording this on a Thursday. Say it's a Thursday, whatever we're going to do here. Say it's a Thursday. One more video to go out tomorrow. But normally by a Thursday, I want to have all 5 videos for the next week uploaded. That way on Friday, I start working on the videos for the week after that. So then the weekend I start editing those. So then when the next week a video starts going out on Monday, I've got for the following week already uploaded on Monday. So
yeah, I think I've got a similar type of schedule for the weekly podcast I do, because like I've got the Sunday episode of Be Great Today. I finished editing that today. Then over the weekend I'm going to get that. FrazlCast I try to get done by Monday. So once this is done, I start rendering stuff for editing, and then tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday are all editing the show, trying to keep on schedule and stuff like that.
I know what you mean. It's become, I had it before where working on something has actually become like a routine part of my life. Like I've always had it where I have a project I'm working on, but I've never had it where that project has like taken over my life. And now everything I do, I base all of my other decisions on how it works in with Game of the Week.
Yeah.
I'm going to be going out of town in a month. Okay, I need to pre-produce X amount of weeks of shows ahead of time to make sure I can do that without missing any days. So, yeah, and I was out of town end of April. Instead of having 1 week of shows uploaded and ready to go before it goes out, I had to have 2 weeks of shows uploaded and ready to go out before either of them went out. And then end of April, I also did my first edit entirely on the road. I was in the car and I edited the entire episode while riding in the car.
Right. I was like, you better not have been driving.
I'm being safe. It's okay. But like, I'm so good at driving, I could totally do it. But I'm just bragging now. Don't arrest me, police officers.
And you did that in your manual Mustang. So you're editing.
Oh God, that was hard to do. I mean, I guess it wouldn't.
Don't try it. Don't try it. Please don't try it.
I'm not. Well, now I have to try it, but like, I'm not going to do it over a long day. Well, once I'm on the highway, though, just put it in fifth, throw it in cruise, go to town editing. But the problem is we were going through West Virginia, which is just tons of turns. So I'd always have to be steering. Like I'd have to go through some flat state where there's no turns. But yeah, I did that. And then days where I wasn't working on the show at all. And it was weird. I was itching to get back to it. So we got back and I could have waited like till the following Monday or something to record a week of shows. And I mean, I did it immediately. I was so anxious to get back to doing it that I recorded a week of shows right away. And then through editing those shows, normally I edit an entire week of shows. I film and edit an entire week of shows as one unit without overlapping any weeks. I'm halfway through editing that. And you know how when you're about to get a cold, you get that sore throat, like that really scratchy sore throat that really hurts?
Yeah.
I got that. And I'm like, oh no, if I'm going to have a cold, I'm going to be in so much trouble with this. So I recorded the week of shows that's going out. Well, I guess when you hear this, they were the ones going out last week, the cluster truck shows. I recorded those way in advance. I actually recorded those. So the last one will be going out on May 18th. Today, if you're listening to this on Monday, this still goes out on Monday, right?
Yes.
Oh, that show, the one that goes out on May 18th, I recorded on May 4th because I knew I was getting sick. So recorded that. Then I thought I was like, I still had, and you can still hear it in my voice a little bit. I still have a little bit of this cold, but I was good enough to do it. So I got everything set and I started recording shows. And I got through one. The problem was I was really drugged up on cold meds. And I had that like really dry throat where it makes you cough suddenly with no warning. Yeah. I had that. I got through one recording of one show, but I wasn't happy with it. I go to start recording show 2. Immediate, just I can't stop coughing. So I bailed on that recording. Would have been just a little less than a week ago that I was finally good enough to record them again. When I finish these shows, then this weekend I'm going to record for the week after and try and build up. So yeah. Close to show 100, so if you guys like PUBG, make sure you come back for week 20. So, anyway, I've rambled on about Game of the Week for long enough, and people are like, "This is nothing about World of Warcraft." So,
no, but what's cool is it's information from people who are doing content creation. I mean, I think it's fun to hear experiences from people doing content. I mean, because there's more behind the scenes on any content.
Those are the kinds of stories that I like. And that's actually something on Game of the Week that I try and include a little bit of, is a little bit of the backstory. Like the Overwatch shows that are going out now. It's weird to say that as we're recording this as I'm editing them, but this is going out when they're out. But now that they're out, the show that's going out today, Monday, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. Like, I truly mean that. It's just recording this on Thursday for it to go out on Monday. Yeah. But whatever. On Monday, I like to put inside things of what it's like to put the show together. Like the whole cluster truck week, I mentioned that I'm starting to get sick, so I'm recording the shows in advance. So, you get the sense of me starting to fall apart. Yeah. I mentioned how I recorded a show that was a disaster. In the first Overwatch show, I mention it, and I include clips of me falling apart from that failed recording. So I try and include different things that I talk about, like something in Cluster Truck Week where I was talking about how, sometimes you don't have to be the best gamer in the world. I make this show so you know that there are people who suck at games just like you. Because I'm not, as much as I play games now, and people think I'm playing games all the time. I play games for about 3 hours a week. I'm recording myself playing games. So it's not like relaxing and enjoying the game. I have to be so on when I'm doing it. I recently was like, I have a couple of hours while something's rendering. I can just go play Far Cry, right? So I was playing Far Cry 5, just playing it. It was the first time in months that I have played a video game just to play it. I'm not recording anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting there playing Xbox. It was so nice. I did it for like 8 hours. I was so addicted to it, but it's one of those things where I'm in it, I'm doing it, and it is work, but it's work that I enjoy doing. So,
and that's always good. It's always good to enjoy the content you're making.
It evolves over time.
Yeah.
Slowly changing. My hope is, and this may sound weird and dark, but my hope is that what I'm working on right now, like the editing the Wednesday show right now, as you're listening to this, I'm editing as you're listening to this, who knows what I'm doing, but as I'm speaking right now, I'm editing the show for Wednesday. I think right now, it's going to be the longest show of Game of the Week that I've done so far right now. But my hope is that the show that I'm working on right now, I'm giving it my best. I know it's like, this is the best of everything I can do. Best editing, lighting, sound, gameplay, commentary, the best I can give it right now. I hope that a year from now, I can't even watch what I'm doing right now because I've improved so much that I'm just disgusted by what I had done. Where it's like, I hope that I'm horrified by what I'm doing now because that means I will have improved.
Yeah. And it sounds like what I'm seeing is the more you do something, you improve your workflows, you improve over time, that it just naturally happens.
Oh, absolutely.
There's discussions on like how many hours does it take to become an expert. And they say the more you do something consistently, the better you become over time.
The week of shows I'm working on right now is a bit of an anomaly in that I have a bunch of technical issues with it. So it's not the standard. The previous 2 weeks of shows that I put out, I was able, especially in Cluster Truck Week, there was a show I edited from fresh timeline to rendered video was 2.5 hours.
Nice.
Edit of the entire 11 odd minute. Yeah, so sometimes it'd be quick turnarounds, but a lot of it all depends on the recording time and the content. So that some people can choose to look at it as more of kind of a weekly installments kind of thing where you just get pieces of a week every day, and then you look at it's like there's a school of thought where you could say I've done 16 of these, done 85 of these things, because each and every single one of these things is its own monster. It takes so much work for every single one of these things, so they're a blast. I love doing it.
Very cool. So yeah, definitely check out Eric Gauder at youtube.com/Eric Gauder.
Just crossed 200 subscribers, so you can if you guys work together really hard, you guys can compete to find out who's going to be number 300. So
Let's do it.
Yeah.
In the past week, I was on Epic Fail Podcast. Had a great time with Draven. Then the next day, I was on the Blue Recluse, and that was a lot of fun. They are almost to 50 followers. We did a Legion look back. Please consider following the Blue Recluse on twitch.tv/the Blue Recluse. They are like 3 or 4 away from the magic number for Twitch affiliate. And they do a great job. They've been doing the live show. And what was fun about that one is we did the Frazzle Report live. So we had the script, and I had 2 of the hosts call in as guests. So you'll hear that at the end of this episode, or on the Frazzle Report feed, or on the Blue Recluse. And that was just like insane. It was flawless. I mean, it was like everything just went perfectly. I didn't flub my lines. It was like, yes!
There you go.
This morning, I was also on the Blizzard Umbrella. That was with Dusty and Ryan. And they just had their 50th episode last week, so this was episode 51. And Thunda, my druid, is now level 75. I'm over in the Storm Peaks now. I am working on the post-Legion quest on Frazzly. Very cool quest, but I will not talk about those. They were just a lot of fun. Then today, I got a beta key. Finally, I was not intentionally entering any of the contests. I wanted to give beta keys to people that were looking for them. But what was cool is I inadvertently entered a contest with the Dark Moon Herald. I was just answering one of the questions. Turned out to be that was how they were giving away keys. So I got the tweets. So I downloaded the beta. It's on my external hard drive named Pandaria. And thank you again to the Dark Moon Herald for giving away the keys. I did the first scenario, reported a few things that I was seeing was acting weird. I didn't know if things were because the game was still downloading, but I recorded everything that I could see wasn't working right. And I streamed a little bit of it. I'm planning to stream more of the beta, but I'm loving what I have so far. It's definitely a lot of fun. I played a Dark Iron Dwarf named I'm a Gnome. I just had to. Getting into WoW topics. There are a lot of beta updates across the web. A lot of it is there are achievements and rewards for toys and mount collecting. Lots of city updates for the new cities, and there's updates for Kalimdor and Eastern Kingdom cities. And they also said that you can revisit old Darkshore and Tearsfall Glades. So that's the good news, is once things happen, you can revisit them. Definitely check out Wowhead. They have a ton of things on the fact that there are a lot of things that are spoilery, and they will warn you when things are spoilery. So like there's a lot of broadcast text, but there's also a lot of like models and things like that. Like there is a mighty caravan Brutisar that is purchasable for 5 million gold. And apparently that can go down if you get rep with the faction that it's purchasable. It's purchasable both in Alliance and Horde cities. And that has an auctioneer. So we have the one yak that's repair and vendor, one yak that's the transmog, and now the yak that is, no, not the yak, but I'm calling it the yak, that is an auctioneer. And what was cool about this one is I know it's a lot of gold, and that's a lot of work to get there, but it gives somebody a reward for raiding the auction house, being good at that. Kind of like how there are the PvP rewards, there's the raiding and PvE rewards. It's fun that there's a reward if you do something that's not PvE or PvP. And that's, again, I think what makes WoW fun. Multiple play styles. Ro did a thing on Twitter. He was researching it. About $500 if you buy the tokens. Now, if tokens go up because of some news I'm going to talk about in a little bit, then that could like probably go down like 420 or even lower. Coltiran Druid. The aquatic form is kind of like a wood seal, I think. It's like very wicker based. I think it looks amazing. I'm going to make Thunda a druid because I like the Coltiran. I'm debating between the thin or the fat Coltiran, but I like the Coltiran. I like the armor and the wicker feel of the druids. They've also brought in the first achievement for Pathfinder for getting flying and BFA. And it's like some of the same stuff like rep and things like that in exploration. The one thing that's kind of interesting, and Wowhead speculating it could be a beta bug, it is showing a requirement for both Horde and Alliance. I could see Blizzard doing that. It would require you playing the game twice or using your boost on a Horde character, but I could see them wanting to do that, to really encourage you to play both continents, because they're both going to be different. And even though you go over there as the Horde and the Alliance, it's there. And like you get some content as Alliance if you go to Zandalar, but there's other content if you play Horde and Zandalar. But I was looking at the achievement recently. I'm almost reading it as if you are there as Alliance, you just have to explore Zandalar and work with it. We will see it once we get it into the beta. There's a lot of things right now that still remain to be seen. It's beta, things are going to change. And then there are a couple like different armor models. The favorite one is Waste of Time. It's a clock as a belt. I mean, that I love that pun. And there's also a butterfly net, which is actually really cool. Fun that they try things. It's a staff. But like I could see that being fun for transmog for either a hunter or a battle pet collector. Fun stuff that they're adding, and it'll be fun to see what more is in there. There are also new hunter pet families. One of the big things that hunters can tame are unicorns.
Awesome.
And there's like toads, lizards, dinosaurs, bees, serpents.
Is it like bumblebees?
Yep, bumblebees.
You can tame bumblebees. Is it rotation or are they like attack bees?
I think it's attack bees because it's showing as a hunter pet.
So cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is going to be a lot of fun, and it makes me hope that maybe they'll add at some point the pet transmog or at least to show a journal of what you've collected, even if you don't have it anymore. That was something that Silverbolt recommended. I thought that's a really cool idea for hunters if they added that.
That would be like a World of Warcraft Pokedex, basically.
Yeah, that would actually be a lot of fun. And they have horse models that you can tame. So yeah, just a lot of fun things they're doing. Oh, and yeah, the frog. Ribbit. I'm just reminded of the frog from Looney Tunes now.
Oh, the Warner Brothers frog?
Yeah, Warner Brothers frog, yeah. Ribbit. But yeah, just a lot of really good things in BFA, and we're heading toward the pre-patch. Once pre-patch hits PTR, there'll be news. I mean, a lot of really cool stuff coming in. Alessander emailed in that there's an article in the Daily Mail about how League of Legends, Hearthstone, StarCraft 2, PES, which I think is soccer, Clash Royale, and Arena of Valor will be Olympic sports at the Asia Games. So I was talking with Ryan and Dusty on the Blizzard umbrella about this. So what they're doing for 2018 is there will be demonstration games. So like, I think that's like half medals and kind of showing what the games could become if they were to become like full medal sports.
Big sports.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to back up a little bit. What are the Asia Games?
Apparently they're like the Asia Olympics. This is the first time I've heard of them.
It's not the Olympics being held in Asia. It's like a separate thing.
Because didn't we just have the Olympics?
They just had the Winter Olympics in Korea, and then the next Summer Olympics 2020, I think, is going to be in Japan. I want to say Tokyo.
Okay, so according to the Daily Mail...
You can correct me if I'm wrong.
It is part of the International Olympic Committee, but it's the 2018 Asia Games, the second largest multi-sport event in the world.
They're like trying out different new sports to maybe become official Olympic sports?
Yeah, like ballroom dancing is one that will become a sport at some point in the Olympics.
Are you going to go be in the Olympics?
I have not been training since I was 3. So the ones that are going to do amazing are the ones that have been training since they're 3.
You should try out. You should try out anyway. I mean, they can reject you or whatever, but I mean, you could try and you could legitimately say you tried out for the Olympics. That would be pretty sweet. You should totally do it. If you guys listening think that Frasley should try out for the ballroom dancing Olympics, which he would be able to do because he's a dancer, tweet at the show, throw stuff at Frasley. I don't know. Just, get the word out, build the pressure, make him do it. Because I think that'd be really cool. Because then you'd get to go to Asia.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Well, I don't think it's in yet. We're probably going to see the Olympics maybe 2020, 2024. I mean,
they're trying it out at this Asia Games thing to see how it goes. So, it's happening no matter what.
Well, this is the video games. We're talking about ballroom dancing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Video games in the Olympics?
Yeah, well, this is the Asia Games. So video games at the Asia Games, but it's with the Olympic Committee. And they're trying it out in Asia Games.
So esports is now Olympics?
Yeah. And if you think about it, esports, there's a lot of endurance. There's a lot of coordination. I'm one of the people who believes esports is a real sport. Look at people that are playing those games and they're playing competitively. They're sweating. I mean, have you been watching any of the Overwatch League?
Oh, well, here's the thing about the Overwatch League. That is a class of Overwatch player that is just so insanely intense and good. And I am such at the bottom level of Overwatch talent that it makes me sad. But here's how I totally see where you're coming from saying that it's a sport, because I agree with your criteria with which you base on it. I hesitate to call it a sport, but that's just because the definition of sport in my own head, as I have always understood it to myself, is it's something that's physical activity.
Okay.
Whereas esports isn't so much a physical activity. Now, I am not trying to lessen one or the other, say one is superior to the other. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. I guess I'm just having a dialogue with myself of trying to determine what is what anymore. Because I totally see because I look at esports like I would look at it like high stakes poker, where it's just it's intense, whatever. There's a lot riding on it, stuff like that. But it's a game. But I don't say that to lessen what it is, because I don't want to do that at all. Because people, they work really hard to get really good at the games to be able to be competitive at it. But is that a sport? But I'm not trying to say that makes it lesser. I'm saying there's games and sports that are of equal value, but are they the same thing? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. And I guess I've been ingrained a lot more into the esports. So I've already crossed that threshold. But I do see what you're saying, that it's on a virtual play field.
So it's a totally different skill set and stuff, but I don't want to say anything that's gonna like upset anybody because I don't mean anything like that. I'm not that I'm gonna say anything offensive, but like you hear stories of Olympic athletes and they train since they were 3 years old to whatever in the Olympics, and an esports person is just like, I mean, I guess they could, but I mean, esports hasn't been around that long, so it's not like they've been training since they were 3, but I mean, they could have been playing video games a long time. It's really complicated. I don't know. I'm so torn on it. Like,
okay. Zephyriah brings up a good point.
Okay.
So they bring up chess.
Consider it to be a game.
Chess and bridge are among, this is according to Telegraph.uk. Let me pull that in so I can put that in the show notes. Chess and bridge are among 26 sports that have applied for inclusion in the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. So we are moving into that realm where games, because of the mental endurance and what it takes and the skill required to play that game, are now being included at the Olympic level.
Here's what I think it is. I think they are widening the scope of what is a sport. Because conventional wisdom for a very long time said that sport is feats of strength, physical strength, right? And ability. Broadening that to mental ability and intellect and all these different things. And honest, I mean, that's cool and that's great. That opens it to a much wider group of people. It's not just people who are like totally ripped and in great shape. It's also people who are really strong in the mind and, very talented in other ways that aren't necessarily like your traditional athletes. I mean, I'm not against it in any way. It's just, it's not something I'd ever thought about before. It's such a different way of looking at it. But I mean, I'm totally in support of it. I guess that was just a big moment for me where I was just like, whoa, I had never considered that.
Well, and I like what you bring up because what's cool about this is it empowers people in different abilities. I mean, because not everyone is great at physical stuff and not everyone's great at mental stuff, but there are people who in both categories who are amazing at that. I've got friends who can memorize things and do so many things. I'm like, wow. And I got friends who can like physically do stuff. I don't know where I fall. I mean, but it's empowering people. It's moving it away from just the physical realm into both.
I like that. I mean, I think that's cool. Yeah, it's a broadening of the scope of what is considered a sport. And I honestly, I mean, I think that's a move in the right direction to include things that aren't necessarily physical, but also things that require just as much dedication to become good at them as,
Yeah.
You also don't want to cheapen it and make too many things sports where it's just like, you don't want to have Olympic go fish. Like that's, where it's all down to chance or something.
I can win go fish. So, okay, it would be the Olympic.
But you know what I mean, though, where it's something where a lot of time and dedication needs to be put into whatever the thing is. So, I mean, even if it's like extreme birdhouse making, like if that, like if it's something that it's a really fine craft or so, different things like that. But I mean, at the same time, there are where things like that have always been happening and always will. It's just whether they're all brought under that umbrella of Olympics. I think it'll be interesting to see how the world reacts to things like esports and, like mental games like chess or something being added to the Olympics, because they'll think, oh, it's all about who runs the fastest, who can lift the most, who swims the fastest, who does the ski jump the most, or, stuff like that. So I think it's a cool move in the right direction. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah. And it's great that this is becoming a dialogue now. And it's great that, as Zephyriah says, the discussion's been happening for a long time. And like, why shouldn't mental sports and ability be part of the Olympics? It's great that that's becoming a thing and that it's really being brought into the limelight. And I think what's amazing is the Olympics in a couple of years may be totally different than what we imagined it.
In the ancient Olympics, all the athletes were naked men. So, I mean, we've come a long way.
We have come very long way.
We've come a long way. So, unless you watch swimming and then it's like the same, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, and then another way that, sadly, something that's come a long way, and I don't know if it's a good thing, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has been confirmed today that it will be available exclusively on BlizzardBattle.net this fall. So Activision Blizzard owns...
Oh, Activision.
Yeah. There's a lot of controversy on this, and I see both sides. I have not decided which side I'm on. Battle.net has traditionally been for Blizzard games. When you download Battle.net, you were getting quality Blizzard games. Then Activision Blizzard started adding things like Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is using the BNet social system. One of the things that's happening, Zephyr brings up a really good point, is that token prices skyrocketed with Destiny, and they're going to keep skyrocketing with Call of Duty coming out. Tokens were added to let people play WoW and pay for the game time with it, but it's taken much more gold to buy game time now.
Increase in price.
Ali brings up a good point, too, that it does give Blizzard more exposure, but Call of Duty has a little bit more toxicity in it sometimes.
I mean, in the players?
In the players, in the community. Like, my only experience with Call of Duty was when it was the original Call of Duty on the PC, was the World War II simulator. Then I got Black Ops 2. I was learning it, but in voice chat.
You were in voice chat. That was your problem.
Yeah.
That is never a good place to be, in a voice chat. Like, every game, whenever, like, when I play Overwatch, like, I don't care if it's the nicest group of people I'm playing. I'm shutting the voice chat out. I don't want to hear them. Like, I don't know what they have to say.
What I've been hearing anecdotally is Heroes of the Storm added voice chat. And when people have tried those with the public games, when people, they were toxic sometimes in the text chat, but when they added their voice, people actually became a little nicer. Now, it's been a few months since I've heard that, so I don't know if voice chat in Heroes of the Storm has changed. But when it first came out, people were actually like, wow, people are actually being human beings in voice chat.
It's on the age of the people that are playing. In my experience, it seems as though people who are younger, I'm not citing any specific range, but, you know, that's just for the sake of argument, school to college. Just a range of people. Generally, the people that you get being super toxic and negative on a voice chat are somewhere within that range. I'm not saying which, because it could be any. Because I feel like everybody hits a point where they become an adult and they just have that sense of like, this is not an appropriate thing to say. I shouldn't be, cursing out 12-year-olds on a video game like this, where it's just like, it's so ridiculous. Like you get mad at something where it's like, it's a game. It's okay. Like life goes on, where... I don't know. But, I think a lot of it is there are people who take games in that where it's like, yeah, you can have fun with it. And I get, being passionate about the game. But at the same time, you also have to be able to say, this is literally just a bunch of like computer code. Like this isn't real. None of this matters. Nothing we ever do in this will ever actually matter. It's a game.
Yeah.
I've found doing like with the game of the week, the few times that it's like the game has made me mad. It's like I get mad, but then I'm pretty quickly after I'm laughing about the fact of how worked up I got about something so stupid. I would like to see a much more kind of friendly social culture within it. The norm is to just be friendly to people. Like I get that you can be competitive but civil. I think sometimes you lose that civility where it's just like, oh, you suck, your mother's whatever, and it just everything gets way out of control. It's just like, I don't know.
It'll be interesting to watch. I hope we can hide icons in the Battle.net launcher, because it's already telling me about Overwatch. I can't play. Thankfully, it has not shown me Destiny 2.
Play Overwatch?
I can't play Overwatch on Mac.
Do they not make Overwatch for Mac?
No. Blizzard has, for a while, been making games for both platforms. Overwatch was one of the first ones in a while that has not been Mac. There are rumors that Overwatch may be coming to Mac, but not yet. But it's on my launcher, so that gives me hope that it could be there, but maybe not.
Get a current console or a PC like the rest of the world, but whatever.
Yeah, at some point I'm going to get a PC. I've got the fun, but it's split between different things. So, because I also want to go to BlizzCon at some point. So it's my funds are being stretched in like multiple ways. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with Call of Duty on Battle.net. The one shining thing I can see is because it is the main social network for Call of Duty, that Blizzard will hopefully be getting more funds from Activision and maybe even more developers to improve Battle.net. I found Battle.net recently has been working really well. I mean, there's the downtime and there's like DDoSing every once in a while. There's different issues, but maybe this means because Activision is putting one of their big games on Battle.net, that it'll at least be able to add more resources to what Blizzard's doing with Battle.net. It's interesting. I could see this as one reason why maybe Activision Blizzard didn't want to rename the app the Blizzard app, because then it wouldn't be the Blizzard app.
But when you bring in those Activision titles that aren't Blizzard.
Yeah, because now it's the battle.
So Battle.net totally works for Call of Duty. It's a super appropriate title.
So you know what? If we had not been upset at them going into the Blizzard app, maybe they would have only put Blizzard. No, I'm kidding. It was. They would probably just renamed it the Activision Blizzard app. I mean, this was probably a
like Activision Blizzard across the board, or is it just for some things? Like, is Blizzard's name anywhere on Call of Duty?
Oh, let's see. CallOfDuty.com. Nope, because at the bottom it says Activision.
Call of Duty is not in line with the Blizzard. Everything in the Blizzard universe seems to be very much set in a fantasy.
Yeah, I'd say Overwatch is the one that could be considered a little bit
still super set in a fantasy universe.
Yeah.
Like from character design to color. I mean, it's all very fantasy, whereas Call of Duty is very much based in where it's much more reality based.
Yeah. And I just went to WorldOfWarcraft.com and it is Blizzard Entertainment at WorldOfWarcraft.com. Both companies are using it. So it's Activision Blizzard is like the main company, but underneath it's the Activision for Call of Duty. It's Blizzard for Blizzard games.
So they can be separate, but they can be together.
Yeah, like they're owned by the...
It's like the opposite of a Disney Pixar kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or it's like pre-2006, where it presents a Pixar film instead of Disney Pixar film. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Contributor of the Pixar film.
But even on this site, you don't see Activision's name on WorldOfWarcraft.com. And you don't see Activision's name on the Battle.net site.
And I know this isn't on your agenda, but I want to throw it out there because I think you might have an opinion on this, and the audience might have an opinion on this. What if Pixar made games?
I would say, with the way Disney's treated a lot of their games and their gaming divisions.
I'm not talking about Disney Interactive. That is a totally other monster that has nothing to do with this. I'm saying Pixar, the studios that very independently makes their own films. What if they were doing the same thing but for games?
Well, then, if they were doing that, Blizzard should be making movies with their cinematic team because Blizzard cinematic team is on Pixar quality. I think, if anything, it would divert Pixar's focus away from what they're really good at, storytelling and movies.
What I'm getting at is they create Pixar games, which you still have Pixar, the movie studio. They're making all their great movies, which I'm super stoked about. Incredibles too, but that's totally other. They're making the movies, but they have a gaming company like Pixar Games that uses like the same awesome storytelling to create new IPs and stuff for games.
That could work.
That's what I'm saying. I think that would be cool.
Yeah. Okay. So if they know good storytelling and they just have to know good game design.
Which is why they would have a game division where it's like game developers and stuff, but they have the storytelling from Pixar working on games, so you combine the two. I think you could have some amazing games that have really deep, awesome stories. Like I kind of miss the games of old that had old stories to them.
Yeah. Would it be kind of like how Lucasfilm of Star Wars had LucasArts, their game division? And that tried to use the prequels storytelling of the Star Wars films.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's not. It wouldn't be taking existing IPs and turning them into games. It would be creative power that you have already and using it to create new IPs that are games.
Okay.
They would invent a totally different universe, but instead of making a movie about it, they'd turn it into a game.
Kind of an interactive game. I could see them going that way, where you're kind of watching something play out, kind of like a Heavy Rain or Indigo Prophecy, Beyond Two Souls, kind of like what Sony's trying to do with their Quantic Dream.
Something I think they should explore.
Yeah.
On the old PlayStation, I played the old Buzz Lightyear Toy Story 2 game a ton.
Yeah.
I loved it. I should have it on a PSP somewhere.
Well, interesting thing that you bring up Disney. I'm going to pull out from the pantry something that came to my attention. So we all thought Disney was going to be buying 20th Century Fox.
I thought that they did buy it. Did they not?
Well, from what I was hearing, everything was all looking good. Comcast jumped in with the bigger offer.
Oh, okay.
Disney would be gaining a lot of things with the 20th Century Fox, and it would turn Comcast, who owns NBC Universal, into an even bigger monopoly.
They'd be insanity. I do want to make a note. This actually is relevant to these companies, despite Comcast being like a mega unstoppable giant kind of sort of situation. They did do one very good thing this past week. I don't know if you heard about it or if you were on the internet at all. There was a particular show on Fox that was canceled.
Yes. Brooklyn Nine-Nine was canceled on Fox.
Yes. That is my favorite show in the world. If you haven't watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, if you just like comedy on television, it's such a fantastic show. It's an incredible cast. It's hilarious. But normally with a TV show, like if you like it and then it gets canceled, you kind of go, but you move on. I felt genuine sadness and depression. Like I felt the need to cry when it got canceled, which was weird. But then a day later, it got picked up by NBC, right? Joy and happiness I felt when that happened was strange. It was like finding out that your dog had died, and then the vet was like, but it turns out there's some miracle procedure we were able to do, and your dog is alive! And being like, oh my god! Crazy overlord company, but, you know, they done some good this week, so...
That's a show I need to watch.
Watch Parks and Rec? I think you did.
Yeah, watch Parks and Rec. It sounds like Brooklyn Nine-Nine's...
Made by the same people.
Okay.
I highly recommend it.
I'm going to look on Netflix and Hulu.
Hulu. I can tell you for sure. Because when they canceled it, so there was about 24 hours where it was canceled and not canceled. When it was canceled, I was binge watching the show as like through like the stages of grief to like accept like, you know, the what is it, like sadness, anger, bargaining, acceptance. Like I was going through those stages of grief with the show, so I was like binging it to like get more of it in my life. And there's still one more new episode to air on Fox on Sunday. Oh, it will have aired yesterday by the time you hear this.
Apparently Mark Hamill helped save it too.
He did. Mark Hamill, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Guillermo del Toro. Such a hard name to say. Yeah, they all were doing that. And I've heard them say that they want to get them all to guest star on the show.
Oh, very cool.
So we'll see. And they're going to see if they can get Guillermo del Toro. God, I can't say that name to save my life. If they can get him to direct an episode, so we'll see. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
So season 6, it's going to be fantastic. Yeah, Fraz, you need to you would love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I would put it at the top of your list of things to watch.
Okay, I'm going to make sure I get that added because I'm looking for a new show because Alex Inc. got canceled.
Yeah, was that the Zach Braff one?
Yeah, I was enjoying it. The kids were great.
Oh, that was about podcasting. I see why you would like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I see why you were drawn to it. Yeah. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think if you liked Parks and Rec, you'll like Brooklyn Nine because all the characters are so different and well represented. Like they've done some episodes dealt with like serious things, but did it in a way with comedy, but in a way that was really. There's an episode where one of the sergeants in the officers, he's played by Terry Crews, who you might know from like the Expendables and stuff.
And Everybody Hates Chris.
And Everybody Hates Chris. That's right. You would know him from that. He plays a sergeant on that show, and there's this episode where he's walking through, picking up one of his daughter's toys out in front of his house at night, and he gets stopped by a cop just because he's black, and there's a very racial this or that, racial bias in the police, and it was a really well done episode. And then there was another episode where he came out as bisexual, and like just the way they handled it was just like they didn't even make a big deal about it, where the character was just like, I am this, and everybody was like, okay. And it was just like, it was a really nice way of thing where it was just like about this, and it's really great, and all the character, everybody just handles everything really well, and just it's a really good show. I cannot recommend it enough.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to add that to the top to my list to watch.
Very good. And it was one of those shows where, like, Parks and Rec was one where I tell people start with season 2, go through the first 4 seasons, then go back to season 1. It's rough, but Brooklyn Nine-Nine out of the gate, it's fantastic.
Well, if it's made by the same people, they probably learned from Parks and Rec. And then they were.
I mean, I will tell you, it's nothing like Parks and Rec.
Oh, I know,
but it has the exact same heart as Parks and Rec. But it's a totally different. Every character on Parks and Rec, I think, was kind of dumb. Every character was kind of stupid a little bit.
Yeah,
like in their own great level way. But we're on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it's kind of the opposite. Really, all intelligent and very good at their jobs. They're just silly.
Well, and like what I'm going off is that the skill and the storytelling that they've learned from Parks and Rec, they were able to put into Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah. Do you remember the episode of Parks and Rec where Lil Sebastian dies? Sorry, spoiler alert. But but you remember that episode and they throw the big funeral and Annie sings 5,000 Candles?
Yeah. How can you forget that one?
I think it's my favorite episode of the entire show. No joke. I have the song 5,000 Candles in the Wind on my phone. Nice. Actually saying it right now. I know all the words. But anyway, guy who wrote that episode is the guy who's the creator, executive producer of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's a great show. It's on Hulu. Check it out. It'll be on NBC for hopefully many, many more seasons. So
very cool. And if it's not, then at some point, Netflix will pick it up.
Understatement. Either that, or I'll be like, "Hey guys, I have a YouTube channel. You can put it on.
Yeah,
I want to keep making episodes." Like, I would totally do that. That was one of those things where they say one of the stages of grief is bargaining. Like, I almost tweeted the show's creator, be like, "Hey, I've got a YouTube channel. If you want it, you can have it, as long as that means you're going to be putting out the show." I almost did that, but I was just like, "No, that's so ridiculous. Don't do that." But that was a genuine thought in my head. I thought that could help.
You never know. YouTube could be trying to get their new YouTube Premium service, because Red is no more. It's now YouTube Premium and YouTube Premium with music.
They changed that. That must have been extremely recent.
Just the last day. The news came out, I think, yesterday or today.
Oh, okay, good. I feel like I'm pretty up to date with my YouTube stuff, given how much YouTube I'm making now. But I was just like, wait, when did this happen? I didn't even hear about this. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, it's slightly more expensive, so I don't know how that compares if you have it grandfathered.
Why would people pay for YouTube? I've never understood this.
They're YouTube originals, and but I haven't seen one that
you can still do YouTube originals for free. Like,
okay,
YouTube originals for free. It was great.
I guess I haven't seen a YouTube original that I wanted to watch.
Lomo guys.
Okay, they're great.
They did some from like January to March, maybe. It's called the Super Slow Show, I want to say, which was basically just a higher budget version of what they're already doing. But yeah. So there are some YouTube originals that aren't money to watch it.
Yeah. Okay, good. Because I thought they were only like behind the paywall. So I'm glad to know that there are some. So I'm going to move us into our community section. So beta keys are being given away by many content creators, like the Darkmoon Herald. Convert to Raid is having a beta key giveaway. Pretty much, if you look out there, there's keys being given out all over the place. So now is a really good time to enter one of the contests for the beta keys. The Con Before the Storm Kickstarter has passed its first stretch goal, and they're almost to the second. And then when they get past that one, there is the third and fourth for Water a Podcast. The third will allow Water Podcasts to have a panel and an area, and the second will allow 2 simultaneous Water Podcasts. That is a great panel, because if you're there, you get a panel to meet the podcast creators, but they release the panels online as well. So there's content also for people who aren't at BlizzCon to listen to after the show. Water Podcast is a fun thing because it energizes creators, gets creators excited, amped up. So definitely let's get them to all 4 of the stretch goals. We can do it, community.
Do it. Get me to 100,000 subscribers and also do that.
Yes.
Those are your tasks for the week.
Well, and then I've got another one. Pwnecast has opened up the Kickstarter for DitchCon 2018. It is called Hollows End Bash. It is the 3rd annual pre-BlizzCon party powered by Pwnecast. So it is a ditch-free zone. Join us for tricks, treats, drinks, and dancing on October 31st. So their Kickstarter is up. Let's get DitchCon funded. Definitely love what Pwnecast does, both with the DitchCon and their YouTube, their podcasts. Great job. Want to also, again, Running of the Trolls 2018 is June 9th. Just want people to know that donations are still going on for that, for the Trevor Project. And then there's the run on the 9th. And I'm going to have a group going in FrazlCast at some point.
Podcast is going to run in an event?
We're going to have like a voice chat group as we're going to run through the Running of the Trolls in game, but we're running trolls from one location.
So it's like an in-game 5K?
Yeah.
You're trying to combine sports with video games.
It's fun because there's a thing where you try to run characters from one zone to another. It's just a fun thing that's started in games. And then these are runs that raise money for charities.
That's a cool thing that games can do, is raise money for that. I was noticing while I was recording this week of Overwatch that there's this character skin that people had that was buy it, the money from it goes to breast cancer or something.
Yes, that is the Pink Mercy skin. There's a Mercy skin and shirt. 100% of the proceeds from the skin and the shirt go to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. And the Breast Cancer Research Foundation has a 4 out of 4 on the Charity Navigator. So it's a great charity. It's running through Monday. So by the time this comes out, if you're listening to it on May 21st, you can download it. So yeah, definitely go out and support the different charities, support the Pink Mercy skin. I picked it up because it's amazing that they're giving all the proceeds to the charity.
It's a pretty dope looking skin too. Like, it looks good.
Yeah. And there is an update on the CTR party this year. Pat Crane sent out an email today, and then there's a tweet, an update on Signals Media and this year's CTR party at BlizzCon. I'm going to link to it in the show notes. It is an email that I highly encourage you to read because it'll explain why the CTR party is not happening this year. And they'll say it in a much better way than I can. One of the lines that I want to point out is Pat says, as for the CTR podcasts, guild, etc., they will move ahead more or less as they have over the years. You'll probably notice some changes as we reorganize, but Jules and I will be talking and working with the guild managers and staff before she leaves her post to make sure issues and questions are addressed. This email was a very heartfelt email, so I'll have it in the show notes. It's also on Pat Crane's Twitter. I support CTR, I support Jules and Pat, and I definitely understand the reason. I mean, it was sad news to hear, but I definitely understand the reason.
Very vague about it, like what?
The email just does a better job of describing it.
What's the overall, like something sad happened, but you understand it? Like,
Jules posted on Twitter that they lost their job and just having to reorganize life and different things. So,
I gotcha. Okay, I'm back up to speed. I gotcha. Okay. That gives me enough context.
And it's said in a much better way. They're both willing to answer any questions that you may have. But onto a slightly happier note, Eric Gauder has a new batch of Overwatch videos coming out this week. YouTube.com/Eric Gauder.
Assuming I get them done, I'm still working on them.
I know
got 2 uploaded as of right now, so you'll at least have through Tuesday.
Okay.
Day 1 tonight. So yeah, I feel pretty safe guaranteeing through Wednesday. Thursday, I'll get through the other shows. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
The closest I've ever had it come down to was the night before it went up. Closest it ever came.
I know the feeling. It's like every week I'm trying to get the shows out. And like I had one where it was like I got the file uploaded for this show Monday morning at like 7 a.m. and I got it out. So it wasn't at midnight like I tried to get it out by, but that's because I was at the hospital all weekend. Not me, but I was visiting a person I know in the hospital.
Yeah, you do what you can. So like, yeah, like how I was telling you earlier, the Halo shows that I did almost broke me.
Yeah.
Years putting it at 7 on the day of or whatever. That's super close. Here's an example. Like when a show when I upload it to when it goes out. April 20th, I uploaded a show that went out May 3rd. So there's a good buffer in there. Internet load. There we go. It's being so slow. Don't they know I'm on a podcast? For a show that went out on April 5th at noon, it was uploaded April 5th at 2 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't like having it that close. That's too close. So.
Oh, I know what you mean. It's interesting, like understanding all the work that goes into content creation. I mean, from blogging to videos to podcasts to streaming, there's so much work that goes in that you don't ever see off camera.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, and you can probably attest to this, but I would say if you're wanting to be a creator of content, whatever kind of content it is, whether it's streaming, podcasts, videos, blogs, what's that thing where people make stuff and they sell it on the internet?
Etsy. Etsy's one of the ones.
That's what it is. Whatever content you're putting out there, they say one of the biggest keys to doing it is to be consistent and always have something new going out. Advice I can give. And this is me coming from being new to this, but having done it the wrong way for many years and now trying to do it the right way is be ahead of yourself. Be as far ahead of yourself on your work as you can possibly be.
Yeah.
The thing is you have time to create and put whatever together and it's fine. And the thing is there's this thing called life. Life happens and just sometimes there's a day where something's going on and you can't do it. Or, I like to have it where it's like I'm putting out 5 videos a week, but I don't want to not be present in life. Where it's like if somebody needs help with something, I can break off and I can go help somebody for 7 hours doing something else. Like if they needed help moving a couch or something, where it's just like, sure, I got you. Like where at any time I could break off and do that and I'm not going to behind on the show or something's going to miss a release.
Yeah.
I would say being ahead, understanding what it takes to put your thing together, how much time that takes, and whether that takes an hour or 30 hours, it doesn't matter. Just knowing what it takes to put it together, you can gauge to make it happen and work. Finding something that you can sustain also helps.
Yeah. But wow, I think we've come to the end of the show.
What? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So it is the end of the show, and we've been ending a little bit earlier than we've used to because that way I'm not up till like 1 a.m. in the morning and then exhausted the next day.
FrazlCast.
It's a whole new world.
It is a whole new world. That you've been doing this almost a year, right?
Yeah, almost a year. It'll be the end of June. So the show's morphed a little bit, but it's turning into what I had from the vision from the start. It's taken a little bit of time for it to get to this place.
It evolves over time.
Yeah.
You can look at the changes and you can be proud of the progression. Like honest to God, I can look at the first and they look so different and they're so drastic and weird when I look at them. And they were only a few months. They were 4 months ago in January, which really isn't a long time if you're not making the thing where you're just cranking these things out constantly, where it feels like a million years ago, but it really wasn't. So, I see the progression of it.
So Eric, where can people find you?
Can find me at my house. They can find me, of course, on YouTube, youtube.com/Eric Gauder. If you want to see Game of the Week, there's a new Game of the Week every weekday at noon Eastern time, Monday through Friday. Haven't missed one since January, so I should be able to keep doing it forever then. Also Twitter and Instagram. It's the exact same as my YouTube, at Eric Gauder. So Twitter, if you want to hear me talking about Game of the Week, and Instagram, if you want pictures of my cat Milo in traffic. I'm the one in the Mustang. You can flip me off, whatever, stuff like that. How about you? You
can find me at Frazly.com, on Twitter at Frazlytastic. You can find the show at FrazlCast.com. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and more. Get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. You can email us at show@FrazlCast.com. You can leave a voicemail at either 1440-536-3711 or on our voicemail page at FrazlCast.com/voicemail. You can tweet us at FrazlCast. You can also join our Discord at sparkspan.com for discussion during the week. And that's actually where we record. And for the most part, Discord works great.
Right now.
Yeah. Sometimes Discord has issues, like it was kicking Zephyriah out of the voice chat server earlier today. The server wasn't working, and that helps explain, like, if there are any audio glitches. Sometimes the voice server isn't perfect, but that's the internet. Things aren't always perfect on the internet.
But, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up, just because I think it would be fun, listing where to, find ourselves on the internet and people.
Probably, youtube.com/the 7 o'clock news.
Oh, God, yeah. If you're feeling like punishing yourself, totally. youtube.com/7 o'clock news.
And that's with the number 7.
For Mark Hamill, you can find him on Twitter at Hamill himself.
Ooh.
So I just wanted to put that out there because he actually is great on Twitter. I think a lot of people would really like him. If you don't follow him, he is Luke Skywalker. You should be following him on Twitter. Yeah. Also, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, check that out. Because
yes, I'm definitely going to check that out.
It is such a good... I stake my reputation on the fact that it's such a great show. And honestly, the thing was, when that show got canceled, people were so upset about it on Twitter. It was number 1 trending on Twitter worldwide.
That's awesome.
For a show that you thought nobody watched, turns out a lot of people were watching it. It was just, I don't know. It's a really great one. So,
well, go watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. No, I'm gonna go to bed after this. But yeah, thank you for coming, and until next week, be awesome.
Ludra the Mage here.
And I'm Ben the Mage. Okay, have you seen the new Datamine pets? I just don't understand how a terrifying, bloody, rabid, axe-wielding dingo is supposed to be cute.
That's not a problem, bud.
How is it not a problem?
Well, you just take it to the prettiest pet shop.
Wait, is this something that's been datamined?
No, I'm opening the prettiest pet shop. We take all your gross and terrifying pets and make them pretty. We give them cute makeovers. Kinda put off that your pet is just a giant oozing tentacle of tentacliness. No problem! We will deep goop it and turn it into a happy dancing flower with bows. And say, does your drooly doggy get you down? A bright pink fireproof bow on each of your corehound's head will perk those good boys right on up.
Well, what about the Weebomination? He's not that pretty. No offense, little buddy.
Well, first, we'll give him a complete makeover and skin treatment for all of his skin types. Then, a manicure on all 3 hands, and end it all with a pretty bow in his hair.
Okay, I've got a whole list of pets that can use some cutening up. Now, while Eludra goes over each pet's plan with me, make sure to check out episode 127 of Battle Pets, Prettiest Pet Shop.
Just wait until you see the ideas I have for the glass spider.
Does it involve a bow?
You're psychic.
Studious Scribe surprisingly solves sword seepage scramble. It's the Overly Dramatic News. I'm Hunts the Wind. Gnomish inscriptionist Blix Bertleblit thought she had it made. Silithus was an ignored zone, with lots of strange creatures to harvest for rare ink components. But then a huge sword came crashing down and tons of people showed up to fight over the crystalline slime that came out of the slice in the ground. Blix figured if she could find a way to create more slime for the crowds, they'd go away and leave her in peace. She knew the local worms produced a slime trail from an organ called the Ong gland. She tried crushing a pair of the glands together, but instead of crystal slime, all she got was a brilliant blue pigment with an overpowering stench. Blix was nearly overcome when suddenly a flash of inspiration flared in her mind. Dipping her staff end in the bowl of the pigment, she traced a large blue square on the ground, making 3 90-degree counterclockwise turns. A burst of light flared, and when it subsided, the inside of the square revealed a pile of the coveted crystals. Absolutely overjoyed, Bertleblitz's scream of triumph was heard for miles. Eureka! 2 Azerongs don't make an Azerite, but 3 Azerlefts do.
Broadcasting across all Azeroth, I'm Hunts the Wind. Check out the archives at overlydramaticnews.com or follow me on Twitter at Hunts the Wind.
Welcome to episode 39 of the Fraz Report. I am Frazly, and I'm here to deliver your weekly World of Warcraft news. We are recording this on Sunday, May 13th, live on the Blue Recluse. If you're hearing this on the Fraz Report feed, then this is a rebroadcast. Hello from the future! Thankfully, robots haven't taken over the world yet, but Google Duplex is kind of scaring me. Look that up on YouTube. Since the Blue Recluse has been talking about the Legion expansion, I figured I should do a report and ask for the thoughts of the past and present faction leaders on how the fight against the Legion went. I was able to secure interviews with Varian, Vol'jin, Sylvanas, and Anduin. First up, we have Varian Wren. Varian, would you like to say a few words about the successful fight against the Legion? Varian? Varian? Has anyone seen Varian? Come on! I had this broadcast scheduled for months, Varian. I'd like to give you a piece of my mind. Schedule an appointment and then not show up? Okay, let's go to Vol'jin. Vol'jin, do you have a few words? Oh, Vol'jin, you certainly have a way with words. Oh, you sparked a fire in my soul. Your words might help burn the factional divide to ashes. Oh, that was good, Vol'jin. Okay. Let's move on to Sylvanas and then their thoughts. Oh, I'm sorry, Sylvanas. This might be one of your adoring fans. Hello?
Hello. Is this Rycroll Pizza?
Sorry, this is not Rycroll Pizza. We're recording.
I'm sorry. I just wanted some pineapple pizza.
I guess Sylvanas doesn't like pineapple on pizza. Okay, let's go to hear what Anduin has to say. Anduin, do you need a moment? Okay. Well, I tried to get the thoughts of the leaders on this broadcast. I did my best. Oh, okay, phone again. Hello? Who did I give the studio number to? How did you find this?
It was in a plaintext file at Twitter's HQ.
Ah, okay. What are you calling about?
Well, is your refrigerator running?
Get off the line! My refrigerator doesn't run anymore. It has plantar fasciitis. This has been the Fraz Report. I am Frazly Sparkspan. You can find the show at frazreport.com. Until next week, be awesome. Not another one!
The hype for BlizzCon 2018 has begun, and so has our planning for this year's Con Before the Storm.
Con Before the Storm will bring together fans and content creators for all of Blizzard franchises once again at the Anaheim Hilton on November 1st.
This is the largest Blizzard community-built event, and it's made possible thanks to everyone who supports our Kickstarter campaign, which is now live at conbeforestorm.com.
Our initial funding goal is $13,500, and we're confident we can hit that goal with the community's help.
As always, we plan to include meet-and-greet opportunities with dozens of content creators, including artists, podcasters, Twitch streamers, esports personalities, and much more.
Returning fan favorites that are already confirmed for this year include badge artist Egg Dishes and Tepish, as well as the return of shirt and button designer Nadia Lee.
Finally, it wouldn't be Con Before the Storm without World of Podcasts, which will be celebrating its 6th-year anniversary.
However, our plans for World of Podcast have grown, as have the costs to make it a reality, and we need your help to bring World of Podcast back for its best year yet.
Get ready for a great night of podcasting content should we hit our stretch goal of $24,500.
To learn more about our plans, stretch goals, and backer rewards, go to calmbeforestorm.com and follow at calmbeforestorm on Twitter for ongoing updates. See you at BlizzCon!
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment. Views expressed by the host and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard games and are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended.
Want more awesomeness every week? Visit weeklyawesome.com. Weekly podcasts to make your week better. Remember to smile and be awesome.